Hello and welcome to We Own This Town Music, the podcast for showcasing new and notable music from Nashville and surrounding areas. I'm your host, Michael Eads, and this is volume 232. This show is part of We Own This Town, a podcast network of original entertainment and documentary content brought to you by Nashvillians. Find our official site at weownthistown.net or follow us at We Own This Town on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And you'll get updates about all the latest episodes from every show across the network. You can also shoot us a DM on any of those services or reach me directly via email at michael@weownthistown.net. If you got a hot tip or some music that you want to submit, that's the best way to do it. This week on the show, we've got a fantastic interview for you with Nashville's own Petty. If you aren't familiar, Petty's been making rap and hip-hop for the past 10 years, including, but certainly not limited to, an onslaught of full-length albums in 2019, a fantastic EP in 2020 called Island Shots, and a consistent flow of singles in between all of that. Quite honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of his overall discography, and I can't recommend enough diving into the whole thing. Most recently, he announced that for every single week in 2021, he's going to release a brand new single. We talk about this 53 Fridays project and find out that he's also planning on additional projects released at least once a quarter throughout the year. Aside from his mind-numbing scale of output, he shares his history with the city, how competition and collaboration actually serve the same means, and his predictions for the state of Nashville hip-hop. Multiple times he stresses the inevitability of recognition for the entire scene, and I can't say that I disagree. He has a great quote about making sure to look forward in time as far as you're looking back to see the true potential. It's wise advice. Before we dive into the conversation, I'm going to play the latest single from the 53 Fridays project. This is a track called Explode that features Chuck Indigo. After that, we'll dive into our chat. Be sure to follow at Petty615 on Instagram and Twitter, and hit up pettyseason.com for all things Petty.
I feel things, baby. If I had one more day like this, I'll explode. Though I'm strong, I feel things.
I swear it feel like yesterday. The first time I had heard one of your records play. Knew that you was way different than a Buck or Lido. Said he got everything it takes to be our hometown hero. I guess sometimes we see more in others than they see in themselves. Like, was you just scared to fail or more afraid you prevail? Sometimes our biggest weakness is the light that we bear, yeah. Cause that's really what frightens us most. I hate to say my favorite rapper scared to jump off the porch. Maybe you is, maybe you not, to tell the truth, I don't know. But you should be on tour. Instead you took a hiatus, left everybody just waiting. I still don't know how to take it. It's like you spit in our faces and said, fuck y'all. We asking if you finna drop, you answer back like fuck now. So fuck your excuses. You knew what you was doing. You knew that your influence could show the whole world that Nashville got more than country music. But while you sat waiting, you stagnated. A whole village of spitters. Might be some talented niggas, but you was different. You dropped that short but sweet, it was a classic in an instant. I still bump it in the whip when I get to reminiscing how your music used to make me feel. Cause I had dreams of rapping too, and you helped make them real. So tell me what's the deal? Why you won't play your hand? Why you won't be the man to put the world on the city? He got tatted on his hand, but you say you got a plan. You say you got a plan, but now shit ain't the same. But now shit ain't the same, and I'm just saying.
If I have one more day like this, I'll explode. Though I'm strong, I feel things that I never saw. If I have one more day like this, I'll explode. Though I'm strong, I feel things that I never saw. If I had one more day like this, I'll explode. Though I'm strong, I feel things.
I swear it feel like yesterday. If I fast forward to now, I underestimated how long they still compare us like a Buck Toledo. I wanted everybody knowing we are hometown heroes. I guess at times I see more and others that I seen in myself. Was never scared I would fail, I was just sharing the wealth. You're right, I should be on tour. Instead I took a hiatus, connecting dots in my city. Could give a fuck if I made it. It's like they spit in my face and then said fuck me. But I don't talk about that, nobody knows, just me. It sound like excuses, cause you don't know what I'm doing. You just suppose my influence can show the whole world that Nashville got more than country music. I never sat waiting or stagnated a whole village of spitters. I share my talent with niggas, that's the difference. If I was more for me, I have no passion left for this shit. So don't bump your head and trip, it's some history that's missing. When so-and-so fell out, I was the glue. When my bro and bro fell out, I was the glue. When fell out, I was the glue. But y'all never knew, y'all just saw how stress and ruined me. Whole time I sacrificed my personal success for unity, so we could motivate each other to be better musically. I gave my energy and focus to playing my part in building up this culture. When we didn't have structure, nigga, tried to make it to everyone's show. Since I know folks will follow me, I'm in the front row, showing my city. I ain't too cool to show love. I ain't saying I made it cool to show love, but niggas used to hold grudges. And since I work, I might miss this or that, but don't dismiss the fact that one time this shit was whack, and one time this shit was flat. And sometimes I wish to go back to the fun times, the good shit, the bad. If I never was a bridge, just to prove shit won't be much better than it is in my career. Fans speak, I'm all ears, I can hear. I appear like I ain't done shit, cause I ain't one to get a list of things I do and read from it and run with it. Just holler at me if you need something and come get it. Mentality that I possess is my reality, and I'm a mess, too selfless, I confess, I digress. It'd be unfair to the progress if I felt I should be somewhere that I'm not yet. Treat them like my brother, some might see me as a top threat. I just want you to see this ain't no contest. Look, if I had one more day too soon, if I ever did my life, it was to make you room. Opportunities they got, I turned down so they could be available. And to think, you think somebody like me enabled them? I did the groundwork, took care of home when niggas went out of town first, cause I didn't care about my spotlight. I plan to stay right here until we got right. I'm back though, but you forgot, right? If I had one more day, fuck that. There's some advice for you, homie. When you OG is sacrifices they don't see. Maybe I'm not as petty as it's said, and they've yet to understand, because heavy is the head. If I had one more day like this, I'll explode. Though I'm strong, I feel things that I'll never show. If I had one more day like this, I'll explode. Though I'm strong, I feel things, baby. If I had one more day like this, I'll explode. Fuck the hook, nigga.
Hello. What's going on?
I really wanted to talk to you about this new project of yours with the 53 singles in a year. Basically, like 2 of them are out now, right? On God and Explode are out now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What was the thinking behind that?
The thing behind that, I had a big plan for the fourth quarter of 2020, but once quarantine and everything hit back in March, I kind of pulled back from that plan and everything that I was going to drop then. Just refocused what I would release and how I would release it. And considering that this pandemic has been keeping a lot of artists inside and everybody's been working, I'm just anticipating 2021 to be a busy year for for everyone, like every artist or any entertainment medium. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they're going to be way more movies. There's going to be more albums. You know what I'm saying? So
Totally.
So it's like, at this point, it's like you're not competing just in your own field. You're more so competing against every, form of expression almost, because it's like everybody's fighting for your attention right now because everybody's at home. And you know what I'm saying? So
right.
I anticipate all of the big artists to drop albums, all of the big directors to drop movies. So it's like, all right, how can I stay in the mix but stay consistent as well, and and make a statement to anybody tuned in to what I'm doing that, I really want this.
I mean, 53 tracks in 1 year is a hell of a lot of tracks. That's a lot of stuff to put out, man. I mean, how much of that have you written ahead of time? Like, if 2020 was like kind of a slower period for you, were you able to sort of backlog different tracks and just form some ideas for what you wanted to release in 2021?
A lot of the tracks they spread it out. The track I just dropped today, Explode, with Chuck Indigo, that one is actually 2 years old.
Oh.
Yeah. The first one, On God, I think we did that one in October or November of 2020.
Yeah.
But most of it, everything that's coming out on the 53 Fridays, for the most part, everything's already done. Like I have a folder of, 53 songs to choose from. But if I come up with something new that I want to slide in at a later Friday date, I'll do that. But for the most part, yeah, all the 53, they're done.
Yeah, I mean, with the state of the world these days, you might have to write some new stuff just to reflect how insane things have gotten. But hopefully it'll calm down here soon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Aside from the 53 Fridays, I'm dropping a project every month, too.
What?
So, yeah, because, like, the 53 Friday, that's already done. And like I said, there was a lot of stuff I was going to plan on doing for the fourth quarter of 2020, because I was going to drop, maybe 4 EPs and 2 full lengths, all within October and December. But, I just pieced it out. And now, I got so much music, and there's really no point of me sitting on it. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to drop a project every month, hopefully a full-length album every quarter, and a song every Friday.
So it's going to be like 2019 again. We're going to get four full-length releases from you.
Man, I hope it's like everything I've done combined.
Yeah.
'Cause I know I've done like a rapid release type thing before, but this one I want to test myself to just stretch it out the whole entire year.
It's definitely incredibly admirable. I mean, 53 songs just in itself as a project. I know others have done it, but it's so much. And then to add full albums and additional releases every month on top of that, I commend you. I can't wait to hear all of it as well. Very much looking forward to that.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Man, if you don't mind giving me just a few minutes of your time to talk about your history and where you're from, just the general petty story would be really fascinating, I think. Are you from Nashville?
Yeah, I'm born and raised, man.
Born and raised. That's a rarity these days. I am too.
Man, I've been living in the same 8 blocks my whole life.
What neighborhood you in?
I'm in East Nashville right now.
Nice.
5 Points area and all that. I don't really like to give my location.
No. Yeah, don't give me the cross streets or anything.
Yeah, somewhere out east.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been here, man, my whole life, man.
So what do you think about the hip hop scene here? I feel like last year was a banner year for the scene in general in terms of national recognition, but do you feel like that's just natural progress? It's always been going up and up and getting better and better. And it's just sort of of course, NPR picked up on it because it's just gotten that good.
I love where the music is going from here. I feel like it's only a matter of time to where, the whole, I guess, genre of music is tuning into what Nashville has going on. For me, it just feels inevitable that, it's destined to happen.
Yep.
In one way or another. But being a part of the scene for, I guess, however long I've been a part of it and seeing it change from what it was before, me and my homies got involved and what it's transitioning to today, it's a beautiful thing, man. And it's more so proof that it is possible, and everything's just motivation to keep going. I feel like rap is in good hands when it comes to Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, your first track that I could find online was from 2016. Tricks, I think, is the name of it.
Yeah.
There might be work before that. I don't know. But that makes this I don't know, according to the internet, your 5th year. But I have to assume you've been making music for longer than that and being aware of the scene for longer than that.
Yeah, man. We're about at least 10 years in.
Oh, yeah.
When I first started, I did a wave of mixtapes. I dropped maybe 5 mixtapes within a 13-month period. And then I fell back and took a hiatus, you would say.
Sure.
I took a hiatus back in 2013, but we had released 5 projects before then. And yeah, I fell back for like maybe 2-3 years and just came back slow grind and starting to get back into it.
That's incredible.
We've been doing it for a minute, man.
Yeah.
Tricks record, man. That's an interesting introduction. Comparing it to everything, you may have heard after that.
I think my initial introduction was the How Low We In record. Lance Conzit from the scene tuned me into that. And then, man, I listened to the Petty Christmas album this year more times than I'd like to admit. It's fucking great. But Island Shots last year was also really good, and I really thought it was interesting how different it was stylistically. I don't know if you feel that way about it, but to me it felt like you were consciously doing something different.
Oh, man, absolutely, man. I was going through a beat folder that Kevo had sent me, the producer that did all the beats. He had sent me a folder of, I don't know, maybe like 30, 40 beats. And I was searching for a song that I was currently writing to. I was searching for a beat that I was writing to. And while I was looking for it, I just skimming through other beats. I heard some that had like an island vibe to it. And then some just told me to go back to those beats and put them in their own folder. It was like maybe 6 or 7. And just to see what they would sound like together. Mm-hmm. And from there, just hearing the contrast of each one of them, I was like, it's a no-brainer. I have to do something to these beats. And in the middle of doing it, I realized, like, oh, shit. I looked up and I had made 5 hooks in an hour to all 5 of them. So I was like, oh, shit, this is it right here.
Yeah.
And I finished it in 3 days. So I was like, oh, well, it happened. I surprised myself because I never really attempted to make any music like that, but I've always loved that style of music. And I don't know, it felt more natural making that than a lot of other things that I've made. Like that one, that came out like water.
Yeah, I mean, with the Island Shots name, that's appropriate for sure. I think it's interesting that you sing on it a bit more, and I've heard you say in interviews that you can't sing, but I think that's just self-deprecation. I definitely think that you have that ability. I think it's funny that you don't really cop to that, but it's there. The skill is there.
Hey, if y'all gas me up enough, hey, I might do a full project. Hey, if y'all let me believe it, hey, I'm gonna run with it.
Yeah, I'll do it, definitely.
I just know a lot of singers that's like, good. So.
Well, I'm not saying it's like Kashana Armstrong or something. I'm just saying it's good, Yeah, I feel that, man. What do you think about like the Nashville scene? If you've been working in it for like 10 years, it's always, every time someone writes about the Nashville rap and hip hop scene, they always talk about how it doesn't have its own identity. Like it's not known for a certain sound. Like you're talking about Island Shots was just this massive inspiration for you, and it's totally different than things that you'd done prior to that. What do you think it's like an advantage for Nashville not to be kind of pigeonholed into a particular sound, and that like all these different artists are able to do all kinds of different songs and styles and everybody just mixes together? Kind of makes it more interesting? Or do you think maybe something like an Atlanta sound would help more?
I think it's an advantage. I absolutely believe that, because what we may lack that other cities have, we were forced to be innovative. You know what I'm saying? To find our own lane or what makes sense to us. And by doing that, we're constantly raising our own bar individually and, amongst each other. So what that does is it changes what we would want or assume would be a sound, but really it's like, Nashville sounds more so a quality, because we're constantly creating and pushing different limits. And what that does is, it makes us better than the last thing we've done. And if everybody's constantly progressing, then it's almost like that's the standard. You know what I mean?
Totally.
To make good product. And so I feel like that puts us in an advantage, you know what I mean? Because sometimes we might not even know how dope something is, just because, we're so used to going outside of the box that, we're just in an experimental state that we might not know that, you could be changing the genre a little bit. But we just keep working, and since we do keep working, if you ever have a chance to stop and look back on what you've done, you're like, oh shit, this is what it's becoming, and I feel like what it's becoming is a quality.
Yeah, wow, that's an awesome way to put it. I was just listening to Ron Abbasi earlier today and thinking about like all the shit he put out in October and several videos after that, and was like, man, there is such this huge volume. You're doing 53 singles this year along with albums on top of that. G-Slap's putting out a bunch of stuff as well. All of these artists, like I'm barely tuned into this scene, and it really is like a fire hose of content, and it isn't sloppy. It's all really interesting and quality. Pretty fascinating that it's come to be that way.
Yeah, man. Ron's a special one, man. He's so dope. And that's like a perfect segue, because like the next song that I'm dropping this Friday is the song that me and Ron got together.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. My birthday's on the 8th of October, and his is on the 9th, so we just titled it October 8th and 9th to play on that.
Nice.
Yeah, man. He's dope, man. He had a hell of a year, man, and I'm excited to see how he's gonna, keep his foot on the gas and what he's gonna do next, man. Because he's definitely one of the ones that when you get an introduction of him, it's obvious, that he's a star and he's gonna go far. So it's just a matter of time, man. And I get that same feeling with a lot of artists from Nashville. That's why I'm so confident in wherever our trajectory is going to go for our region.
Yeah, I mean, I get that from your social media is like super positive, like a lot of just positive messages going out. Maybe they're sarcastic. I don't think so, though.
Nah, I would be like that. Would be that anyway. It's genuine.
What does it look like to you to have Nashville go to the next level? Like, what does that look like? Just like more national recognition of like whenever one of these artists like yourself or Ron Abbasi or Chuck Indigo releases a record, there's just more press coverage of it. Is that, I mean, I don't see why that's not happening already, but maybe that is the next obvious step.
I feel like a good step could be that, but where I see Nashville, man, at some point it's like I see all of the artists as bosses later on, and us passing the game on to the next wave and so on and so on. It's like I can see us turning into what a coach is for Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like those real important factors in just the pipeline of keeping your city relevant in the whole rap game. Like I really see us doing that, man, and it's just one of those things that when it's something to talk about, they wouldn't hesitate to talk about it. And right now it's you just feel like the whispers buzzing up, eventually
Yep.
It's going to be like a big conversation to where the country's talking about Nashville.
Yep.
First, when people catch wind of it, the people that's not from Nashville, they're going to doubt. They're like, because with Nashville, they think country music.
Yep.
That's going to be the reason why we go forward, because they're going to doubt, and then somebody's going to say, no, actually, listen to it. And then they're like, oh, fuck, I was wrong. And that's what's going to make it happen for us a whole lot more. And I feel like the fact that we're going to get doubted, because I'm anticipating people to doubt us, the fact that we're going to get doubted is the reason that we're going to be solidified after. Because the best way to make somebody to believe is, have them doubt it first, because then they got to check that feeling they had at first.
Yeah, man. I listen to a lot of different genres coming out of Nashville, and the whole We Own This Town music podcast that this is for is that exact idea that you're talking about, that like everyone thinks of Nashville as like country music, singer-songwriter, which is like, I guess fine. But there's so much more. Like there's so many incredible genres and like really talented musicians making interesting things, both in the hip hop and rap world and in like punk music and electronic music and just all sorts of genres that people looking at Nashville would definitely be like, there's no way there's good ambient music coming from Nashville, but there absolutely is.
Man, we even have a house music scene, man. It's like, it's everything.
Yeah.
know? But yeah, I rock with y'all, man. Y'all holding us down, man. That's why I was definitely, excited to do this one.
Man, I
Appreciate what you do.
I love what you're up to, and I gotta say, like, I've been pretty ignorant to the hip hop scene up until the last year, and then I properly tuned in, and it is tough to keep up with. Like, there really is so much music and so much to listen to, and I've got a backlog now of a decade's worth of music to catch up on. It's a great problem to have, but it is a whole lot of music that's out there. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, man, the way Nashville is, it's like you can get into a certain part of Nashville and it's so much coming from that element that it feels like this is the city. But there's another element just like that down the road where you have somebody doing the same exact thing, if not more, with active people inside of, their camps or inside of their pool of, just, I guess they're part of the scene, right?
Yeah.
And it's like Nashville's broken up into so many pools within one big grand scheme of it. And, you watch Game of Thrones, you know how you got like the different, you feel me? You got the different castles and shit, but ultimately it's like, nah, man, you got to get together because the White Walkers are coming. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like, the White Walkers, to me, that just represents like any adversity, that's in between us and getting to where we know we can take the music. But there's literally so many different parts of Nashville that being in one particular part so much could kind of sway your perception into believing that is the city, when it's like, nah, there's a bunch of those that that make up what Nashville actually is. And man, Nashville is huge ideally, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once you actually see like how everything is intertwined, and it's like a web of communities that make up one big village.
Totally agree, man. And I hope that keeps growing and people keep noticing that web, because you get into one, especially with hip hop, with the amount of collaboration that happens, like B Stokes was on your first track of the 53 Fridays. So then you get into that, and then you get into, another artist, like it just Daryl A1, like it just keeps on going. I think it's executed so much better within hip hop than it is within most other genres, because there is so much collaboration, both in terms of like guest vocalists or producers. Like you can go down that well so far. It's really amazing.
Yeah, it never ends, man. It's like let's say the show Seinfeld, right? Seinfeld's the main character. You got all the supporting characters in the show. All right, let's say you get a spinoff of the show. Let's say there's another show called Kramer, right? Kramer's the main character, but we know Seinfeld for everything he does, but he's just a supporting character in Kramer's show because it's from his POV. And I feel like that's kind of like how us artists are, but every character is the main character to their own show.
Yeah.
As well as a supporting character to many shows. So it's like the perspectives cross so many times that it's just a big web. And if you understand that, you understand your part in it as far as being an artist, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that it's not competition, right? Like everybody's kind of lifting everyone else up, and that web gets stronger the more you kind of work together and cross collab.
I feel like it's a little bit of both, because people cross collab and, help put each other into different, spots or positions and where they get some attention as well, right? And also, it's rap. You know what I mean? So it's like,
sure.
Everybody wants to, be better than the person they were yesterday.
Yeah.
As well as, sometimes it can be a friendly competition, or it can just be I don't know you like that. I can care less what you got going on.
Yeah, man.
But ultimately, the result of it still pushes everyone individually to make better product. So regardless whether it's competition or whether it's actually building with each other, the results don't always, be better music. And that's another reason why I feel like it's just inevitable for us to be on top in one way or another. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I do.
Some people feel like if some people aren't working together, it's like that could be something that's holding the city back. But it's like, have you heard the music? So clearly that ain't that. It makes the music better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that when it happens, it's going to happen. Because I feel like hip-hop's not even 50 years old. Am I correct?
Nope.
Or is it?
No, not yet. It started really I guess you could trace it back to the 70s somewhere when you'd be getting close, but mostly the 80s, like we're about 40 years.
I'm 32. So I'm looking at it like, let's say Nashville was to pop off and actually be the king of rap for the next 50 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be 82 and I can look back and say, oh shit, Nashville has ran the whole genre for half of its existence.
Yeah.
You see, that's something like, that's how far I look into it. You know what I'm saying? So my vision is always thinking the bigger picture on that. I'm always thinking about me being older, looking back on everything we're doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about my retirement plan.
Totally.
Reminiscing on all the things we haven't done yet, but that we're going to do.
Yeah.
And I really just feel like Nashville can be that, man. And as long as we can keep it.
Man, that's such an interesting perspective to think about, just like the life of hip hop in general as a genre, and that it's still very young overall. And so
it's extremely young.
Yeah. So the idea that Nashville could be seen as one of the hubs or the hub or all of the above isn't outlandish in the slightest, because there's no telling what's going to happen. Yeah, man. And
that's what keeps me, I guess, rooted in this, I guess, pursuit or just pushing, this evolution of Nashville music. That's what keeps me in it, knowing that it's still young. So a lot of people that doubt Nashville, I don't think they put all of that on the scale. They only think of, country music when it's like, nah, man, hip hop's not even that old, man.
Yeah, totally.
And everybody that wherever hip hop originated from, it's like, all right, where did you migrate from? You know what I'm saying? We are from the South anyway.
That's true.
So, it's like we got to look forward as far as we look back to understand what exactly we have an opportunity to do. I look forward so much. That's what keeps me motivated in knowing that people are going to doubt what we got going on, because they're not looking that far. And if they was looking that far, it'd be obvious. They know exactly what we're talking about.
I think that's a pretty good note to end on. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Anything you want to shout out at the end? Obviously, 53 Fridays. Everyone needs to keep up with that.
Man, I want to shout out y'all, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me, man. This was dope, man. If ever, you want me back, let's do it.
Man, I got all kinds of questions for you, but, we got a half hour in. You got a life to live. It's a Friday night, so I'll leave it there. But we'll chat again. I really am looking forward to not only all the singles, but these albums as well. That's really, I can't wait.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. Have a great weekend.
Peace.
All right, that's our chat. Huge thanks to Petty for taking the time to speak with us. Phenomenal interview, in my opinion. I really did have a million more questions for him, but he already touched on so much. I'll just save the rest for a future conversation. Once again, follow @Petty615 on Instagram and Twitter. Find his music on Spotify, and check out all the links in the details for this episode to get more Petty in your life. Follow us at We Own This Town on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook to get updates about all the episodes from all of the We Own This Town shows. Visit us at weownthistown.net. Email me if you want, michael@weownthistown.net. Many thanks to Upright T-Rex Music for the music bed playing underneath me right now. Find them at uprighttrexmusic.com. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Petty, for all your time and insight. Massively appreciate it. Take care. Keep wearing a mask. Watch that vaccine news, and I'll talk at you soon. Bye.